Hello there, this is Ron Wills, and I'm coming back at you again with yet another video. Today, I'm going to talk about black women rejecting the men who want them the most. Yeah, one of the things, anyone who's followed me for a little bit knows I talk about the different categories of men, selected, non-select, and the female selection criteria, specifically the black female selection criteria, and different categories of men, all of that, so on and so forth. One of the interesting things I've noticed as far as how women interact with each of the categories is that black women in particular, like women in general do it, but no, I take that back. Black women in particular does something, American black women anyway, do something to me that's kind of mind-boggling. It really is. It's mind-boggling me since I first started seeing it as a youngster. And that's the whole notion of rejecting the very men who want you the most. Especially when let's be real, we're in an atmosphere where brothers are going in on sisters. You got brothers on social media, in the real world, everything. Really just going hard on sisters, going hard against sisters, speaking against sisters. Despite all of that, there are men out there who love black women. And not just say it, but will love a black woman. The ones who love them the most. I mean, all the brothers, even the ones going in on sisters, love the sisters. But when I look in terms of who is really just deep, just that deep love, not that superficial shit, but like that deep, accept the person, accept their flaws, accept their baggage, want to work with them. The group of men who have the most love for a black woman, wants to heal it, wants to support it, is also the group of men that black women reject the most. And this isn't some, based on some survey or anything. This is based on life. This is based on actual conversations with black women. Without exaggeration, I can say I've had conversations with thousands of women in my life. Right? Conversations like deep ones, not superficial shit, but deep to the point where they telling me what's up. And the overwhelming majority of these women were black. And for reasons which, I'm still trying to figure out, black women would tell me their deep down secrets. It's funny. I was kind of like that friend zone guy, but I would still get the pussy. Go figure. Whatever. I was in that weird nether region. Whatever the case. But on the friend side, they would just tell me, and it's a funny thing. Like, one of the things is, okay, like, here's an example. I knew a sister who always complained about the shortage of good black men. So one day I said to her, well, okay, I don't think that there's not a shortage. It's just a shortage of the men you want. And she said, no, there's a shortage. We got all these stats, the census and all of that. So I said, okay, how many single black men you know? Like, they're just not in a relationship. She said 5. I said, okay, out of that 5, how many would you date? She said 2. I said, okay, how's there a shortage? Boom. See, here's the thing. And that's just one example. I've talked with a lot of women, every single black woman out there, and I've yet to meet an exception. Every single black woman out there got some guy checking for. Now, I said in a video, that video how Rom got game, that my sister was mentally challenged. She had men checking for her. She was always in some type of, special program for, kids like that or something like that. Back in the day, we'd just say mentally retarded. Now it'd be like mentally challenged, or what I really suspect, she was on the autism spectrum. She had men checking for her. So, and I've met women who, black women, I mean, look, there's no nice way to put it. They were just physically unattractive. They were ugly. I mean, and they had men checking for them. Now, here's the funny thing. All these women who had men checking for them, they would never want these men. They would just say stuff like, well, they would come up with a bunch of stuff, like just some little small things. And I would question, me being me, I would question them. I say, well, is he ugly to you? They'd be like, the majority of the time, they'd be like, no. In fact, they'd be like, yeah, actually, he's rather handsome. And I was like, okay, is he too, is he too fat? Is he too skinny? And, every now and then you would get that, but then, even then, they'd still be like, no, he actually looks nice. He carries his weight well, or, he's right where I like him. I was like, okay, right where you like him. So what is it? You know? What's the problem? And the most common thing I found with a lot of these women, they would reject these men because these men didn't spark them in some way. Like, on paper, these men would have everything, they wouldn't spark them. And in fact, one thing I've talked with a lot of black women, especially, I haven't found this as much with other women. I don't know, maybe somebody white can tell me, or Asian can tell me. In fact, I have not observed this at all. But with a lot of black women, it always comes down to like, oh, there was no spark. And I'm like, okay, you're complaining. Okay, so you got these other guys, right? When you think about the categories of men I talk about, you got the, like, Mr. Goodbar type dude, the stud type dude, the tall, muscular, handsome, all of that, who's dogging you and 6 of your girlfriends, who basically cursed your ass out for like even driving past his house unannounced. But you got a spark with him. Or you pining for that, as my brother Obsidian Mumia Ali would call Master of the Universe, that rich brother, pushing the E-class and everything. You pining for him. Except that brother, he only checking for women who look like black Barbies. I mean, back in the day, I say late 80s and stuff especially, I used to party with like those upper echelon type brothers. Hotel parties where you had to know somebody to even know where the damn party was at. They ain't advertised on the radio or had flyers up. It was a closed circle. You go in there, and the worst sister had like a flat belly and, was built tight, very beautiful. I mean, you talking like the worst ones in there were probably rate 8s. The thing about that rich brother, that brother with some money, that high paid professional, they only deal with a small circle of black women. Any woman who's, who his hair isn't right, whose complexion isn't right, whose body isn't right, whose neighborhood or origin isn't right, ain't getting in there. And just to be real with you, a whole lot of them will marry out. That's just how it is. Or if they don't marry out, they marrying some mixed sister. Like sisters complain about these rich brothers going for these mixed women and stuff. They ain't too far off the mark. It ain't a total thing, but they ain't too far off the mark. Just keep it real. I'm giving credit for that. And then you left with some of the brothers who they straight predators. And when I say predators, it's like they gonna get theirs by any means necessary. They usually call the thirsty brothers. These are brothers going to shoot. They're gonna be in every inbox. They're gonna throw that line out, holler at every woman they see, all of that. And a lot of times when they dealing with a woman, they ain't even really dealing with the woman. They got a lion chasing an antelope mentality. Whoever they can catch. They don't care about that woman's personality or what she trying to do with her life. So you left with a lot of the guys who got good intentions towards black women, but sisters don't want to deal with them because of course, these guys ain't a challenge. These guys ain't bringing any drama. They don't have that spark. Now let me talk about that spark for a second, because that's the biggest confusion. Like a lot of brothers, and I've said this on occasion. That whole thing is about those vagina tingles and all of that. Really, that spark is nothing but anxiety. It's like when a kid smiles because they got gas or something. You basing a relationship based on some chemical reaction like that? Because when you're in a relationship, think about something. Okay, yeah, that spark is all well and good, but what about your value system? If there's that dude, if you a woman, you're a good church going woman. You at least trying to be right by Jesus. Is that dude on that same thing that you got a spark by? Or what about you trying to get your education or something? You trying to do something? Is he on that same tip? Does he value that too? It's like, you have a certain way you want to have your family raise your children. Is that dude on there? How's that dude feel about money? Does he want to save money? Shoot, does he want a house, apartment? Man, look, there's 1,000 things that people got to look at. And a lot of times what happens with a lot of these black women, they actually meet guys who share their values. Because that's who you become friends with. If you look at every single black woman listening to this, think about every friend you got. Why they your friend? They're your friend because they share some type of value with you. You ain't going to be friends with somebody you don't share values with. And see, that's what really relationships got to be built on. You can't build it on some spark. Sparks can be put out. If you see a spark in your house, what do? You put that shit out, you pour some water on it. If you got a fire extinguisher, put that shit out. But see, a lot of women chasing somebody off of it. And like I said, they ain't half the time, it ain't really lust. It's just anxiety from meeting somebody. Those butterflies and stuff, that's anxiety. When most people meet somebody new and they look halfway attractive, they get self-conscious, they get nervous and stuff. A lot of women confuse that nervousness for love or lust or something. They say, no, it's just nervousness. And if you nervous, really, that's if you feeling some type of way like that, that's actually your body trying to tell you, well, maybe not. That's not the one. You should be feeling comfortable around anybody. If you don't feel a sense of comfort around somebody, you need to leave them alone. Because a lot of times women go for it and think it's love or something. Like women can even get excited if they got some fear of somebody. That can actually turn some women on. Or somebody's causing some type of pain. I mean, that's a big thing with that whole BDMSM subculture. Somebody getting their ass whipped and they turned on by it. And that's what's happening with a lot of these women. But you can't build a relationship off that bullshit. You really can't. And, it's funny with too many black women, who go on TV, who go on social media and complain about not being able to find that right man. Who makes them feel a certain way. But those feelings, you can't go for it. The guy who values you, he might not bring that spark, but what he's going to bring is some real substance to you. When you look, and especially when you look at like nice guys, good guys, regular guys, whatever you want to call them. One of the things I found with talking with, I don't know how many over the years, and I'm talking about just regular conversation. That's some bullshit online. And that's some bullshit, some politically correct bullshit when you're in a forum with some women right there and you saying some stuff to impress the women. But I'm talking about in countless barbershops, street corners, just when, brothers get together. When brothers get together, we're gonna talk about a variety of things, really. And women gonna be in there, but we might talk about religion depending on where we are. We might talk about politics, and in talking about like just women, Men are going to mention what they like. Now, in talking with men over my lifetime, now I've been around 50 years, been having conversations about women really even since before the age of 7. I know I said in another video I started learning the game at 7, but even then you're having conversations. Little boys will have conversations with about girls, even if it's just to say, hey, you know what, they suck. They don't want them playing with them, or something like that. Whatever the case. And one thing I found, and this is I'm gonna focus this just on what adult black men are saying. A lot of brothers are willing to deal with that woman who may have some weight on her. A lot of brothers are willing to deal with that woman who might have a kid. Even though she might have a kid by two different men, and there's a lot of brothers, good men, who are willing to, they want to. They be called Captain Save-A-Hoes and Simps by some guys, but some of those guys fight back like, yeah, I'll do it. Because they feel in the woman that much. They feel in the woman that much, and the woman, what, she might have some baggage. She might have a couple, like I said, a couple kids. She might have some serious mental issues, and yet you got some man who's like feeling her enough to really put up with all of that. But yet women shit on those guys. And I'm just like, man. And it's some crazy stuff. Because, when we talk about relationships up here, man, we got to get out of that little Disney shit and that romance shit and that happy ending shit. And I've actually talked to women. They want that little Disney romance. I'm like, this the real world. That Disney romance, all right, until you get that cutoff notice. Or, we dealing with stuff now. We getting black men shot in the middle of the street. We don't have time for that shit. Let's just keep it 100. We don't have time for any fantasies now. We can't. Cause I'm just gonna say this shit ain't gonna get better. And you know what? Unless one of these guys, either Clinton or Trump, they get in there and decide, oh, we're gonna bring some manufacturing back to this country. But the economic situation, please. And even with people talking about that $15 minimum wage, some people still gonna get screwed. Some people still gonna get screwed because what you're gonna find is a job that was paying minimum wage that maybe had 10 minimum wage workers all of a sudden just gonna have 2. But you know what? That's another conversation. I might have to start another channel just to talk about news commentary because I'm deeper than relationships. But anyway, we got too much out here, and see, we can't be on some romantic shit. And black women in particular, any black women listening to this, you gotta get past that Disney shit. That spark's all well and good, but it's just that, a spark. You gotta see who shares your value. And a lot of times these good guys, nice guys, they want you. They share your value. Because if you their friend, you share their values. But see, y'all tripping over some dumb shit. Still looking for Prince Charming. Still caught up into that longing for Prince Charming. It's like, shit, grow the fuck up. Seriously. Because, I'm going to tell you what. And people say, well, Ron, why are you so passionate about it? Let me be straight with y'all. I was one of the bad guys, okay? I really was. I really was a bad guy. People used to straight up ask me to teach them how to dog people. And, if y'all listen to that video, how Ron learned game, you got to realize going through all that shit, I know how to close my heart easily. I'm the type I can put a bullet in somebody's head and go and have a lobster dinner afterwards without shedding a tear. So, but I'm saying that to say this. Reason why I'm saying something because I'm hearing from these good guys. I'm seeing it. That's why I'm speaking for them because, well, you know what? I can. Maybe 10 years ago I wouldn't have. But now I am. And it's like, you got some guys, they seriously want to be there. They want to be there for the women. They want to be there for the children. But y'all give them the most hell. But then you get some complicated brother like my ass. you be spreading everything. And I'm the type, I'll just stop calling or something or dismiss your ass. And I'm just like, ain't this some shit? So it's like, look, really think about it. This is for the women. I know some guys gonna listen to it. They're gonna probably co-sign, but for the women though, think about who you're rejecting. You are rejecting the men who want you the most, who will, they ain't gonna ask you to be Barbie. You know, they ain't gonna hold your past against you. They just want to build with you. That's all the fuck they want to do is just build with you. You need to like really, really get past it, or really look in the mirror and ask yourself why you shitting on somebody who want to actually be with you. And think about it like that. Why shit on somebody who want to be with you? Why you chasing somebody who, if they even bother to deal with you, will dog you and will dog you without any remorse? Once you think about that. So anyway, that's it for today. It's been real talking with y'all. Brother gotta go eat now. I'm hungry like a motherfucker. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.